with Blu Fiefer, the latest artist just announced as Ethara's Regional Artist Spotlight programme. She's a songwriter, so talented. She's a producer and a director. Born in Lebanon, however, she's gone international for her unique storytelling, which we loved.
And so don't forget to subscribe to the Lovin Meets podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Enjoy the show.
It's 9:07, but our show does not end here. We sat down with the UAE's next regional artist spotlight. Her name is Blu Fiefer. She's from Lebanon and she had us here. We had her here not too long ago. The interview's here. Take a listen. Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today we're thrilled to have a guest who embodies the spirit of Ethara's Regional Artist Spotlight, the talented one and only Blu Fiefer. RAS launched back in 2021. It's committed to showcasing and celebrating the exceptional talents of the Middle East region. She's a Lebanese songwriter, producer and director. We're so excited to have her on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here. So actually we've noticed that you recently turned 31. Happy late birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
We're sorry we're late. We know that we're late,
Thank
but
you so
happy
much.
birthday. So,
Thank
of
you.
course, in my mid-20s. So, yeah.
I'm in the
older?
30 club.
Or do I look
No.
younger?
No. It's just, the 20s are, now that I've
Yeah.
entered my 30s, I see my 20s in retrospect and it's very different.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I'm actually very proud to be, not proud, I'm happy with
Yeah.
it being 31. I always thought that when I went into my 30s, it would be like, especially as a woman, it would be like, oh no, but actually this is the best time in my life.
No, I completely understand you.
Yeah.
But how does it feel like? I mean, what advice would you give girls and guys like me?
In their 20s?
Yeah.
It gets better.
It gets really.
It gets better.
I don't know.
I feel like the 20s, or at least for me,
Yeah.
and for my friends, because we have this conversation a lot, especially like going into the 30s, about how the 20s are very chaotic and you're not really you don't know yourself that much.
Okay.
So a lot, there's a lot of
things to explore.
Yeah, figuring out yourself and figuring out like who you are in the world and who you want to be in the relationships around you. And your late 30s, we all start going to therapy and figuring stuff out. And then when we're in 30s, okay, now I know who I am. Now I operate from that place. I make decisions based on who I really am. I don't abandon myself as much anymore. 20s are fun, but just a bit too chaotic.
It's so true. I completely agree. As someone in their mid-30s, I stand by that. So if you're 20s and you're watching,
it gets better.
It gets better.
Hopefully.
Okay, we want to learn a little bit about you. You've come to Dubai a couple of times. You've had some gigs here, but tell people, who is Blu Fiefer? First of all, where does the name come from?
Where does it come from? So it's not my birth name, but it came with the creating who I wanted to be. It just kind of felt more aligned with who I am and my art and how I presented myself, and the name just kind of came. So but that's, everyone calls me Blu, my friends, my family, it's who I am, Blu. Yeah.
That's actually very nice because, as well, you were just talking about, like creativity and art and so on. So how would you say, or how would you describe, your, I would say, road towards your creative music and
like
creating...
the process?
Yes.
Yeah, so the way that I approach my art is very much, like I say, multifaceted, because I like to so I do different things. I'm an artist, I write music, I songwrite, I produce for myself, for other artists, I direct, I edit, I have my record label, and I feel like all those different things are mediums to tell the same story. So it's the same process for me. It's the same decision making along the way, whether I'm producing a song or thinking about the edit of a music video. I'm operating from the same intention of, this is the story I want to say, this is the mood, this is the colors, this is the feeling that I want to inspire. And it's really important for me to be in charge of all those things. Just because of my journey, when I was young, I never thought I'd be doing all those different things. I just thought in the beginning, I want to sing. And the more I got to know the industry and the more I explored myself through the arts and through working with different people, I really got to understand that I like to do all these different things. Even working with other artists, like producing for other artists, like brings me the same joy as when I'm making music for myself. Just like creating a world around something, whether it's music or film. I'm really passionate about that.
That's
It's so interesting. At what point did you realize? So you said you were drawn to music from a young age, but at what point did you realize that art could be used as a form of storytelling? And when did you start combining the two?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the beginning I was attracted to. I think I used to see what singers do, and I used to be attracted to how they could express themselves in that way and how they could relate to the audience. And I found that interesting. And the more I got to understand the behind the scenes of how something is made, how an artist is developed, how a song is brought to life. It's not just about sitting and writing. There's so much that goes into it. I really got attracted to the art form of those things, and it became much more interesting to me than just the singing part itself. I don't even really consider myself a singer. All my friends know it's, but I mean, I know this is the perception of me because that's what people receive on the surface end. But for me, as singing, like in production, you have different layers. You have the drums, you have the percussions, you have the melodies, whatever, and then you have one layer that's the singing that for me ties everything together. But for me, it's just one layer, and I enjoy it. But I also enjoy that, like the music making part for me, the actual writing of the music is something that's so natural to me. I never I have writer's block. I never have music. The music never stops coming out of me. So this is something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, because as well, like I have noticed that Nadine Lebaki, the greatest Lebanese
Okay, first
producer.
of all, icon queen. Shout
Yes.
out to Nadine Lebaki.
Yes.
What an inspiration.
Yes,
Genuinely.
exactly. I mean, she's very known specifically after her latest film, Kafir Nahum, right? But she follows you. And as well, Mohin Jabir follows you, which, by the way, he is the son of my dean at the university, and I know that he is very interested in all of like these things, specifically with his podcast and so on, right? So, do you know them? Are you friends with them? Did they just like randomly follow you? And how did you feel when they followed you?
Yeah, so Nadine specifically, I've been a fan for so long, like especially what she does and the trailblazer she is as an Arab woman, and the way she's like really taken the baton internationally. She's inspired me so much. I genuinely love her and her work and everything she's brought to the table, really, even to cinema in general, not just the films individually. She followed me when I released Sint El in 2020, and I remember at that time, because the song went viral, I had a lot of people that I really like and respect follow me and find out like who I am from that. But her specifically, it was just like a moment of like,
of course,
yes.
Of course, it's Nadine
we're on
Lebaki.
the right track. Because you know, it's like, and it's not about how big someone is or how many followers they have, but just like someone that you really respect their presence in the world and what art they present. That just like means more, you know. Like, and for example, I also got Drake's producer following me from that song, and I was like, those two were like really big highlights for me because I love their work so much. So it's just a kind of a nice like, you know, you're doing the right thing, you're attracting the right people, you're in the right conversation, keep doing what you're doing. That's kind of what you know, what they brought into that when they followed me. Yeah.
I can only imagine what that must be like an icon in your field following you on Instagram.
Yeah.
But speaking of highlights, are there any kind of more personal or professional highlights to date that you've experienced?
Highlights of what?
So maybe like the first song that you shared went viral, or just like a personal moment, or being chosen for something, or performing to a crowd in Berlin and they're singing back your tunes, you know, that type of...
Yeah. You know, the past year has been really crazy. I mean, since I did Sint El in 2020, when that came out, I decided to start my label, Mafi Budget, which means there's no budget. And starting to work with people that I'm like kind of, you know, aligned with from an artistic level, from people that operate from the same place. Starting the label and everything that came with that, honestly, I'm really so proud of that. I never thought, this was never really my inspiration from when I was young, like I want to grow up and start a label, but this is where my journey has taken me. And in the past year, I feel like so much, I've been in the industry for 15 years, so I'm 31. I dropped out of school at 14, I studied music in London, and then I started working when I was like 15, 16. So it's really been a long road of like trying to figure out what I want to do and how I want to express myself, and also figuring out the music industry, which is very challenging, let alone in the region, in Lebanon. It's hard. So seeing all the achievements that we've done in the past year, all the releases, the accolades, it's more of, I see it, I look back and I'm like, there isn't like one thing that pops out. You know, different things have contributed to different things. Sintil Ew did something for my career that other songs didn't. Other songs brought different kind of fans or energy into my career. Being able to go on tour and seeing people sing the songs in Switzerland or in Berlin, this is like an honor to be, and to carry the flag with me, you know, the Lebanese flag, and to make other Lebanese artists feel like this is something that's possible. I don't have a reference to what I'm doing. There really isn't a reference that's an inspiration in a specific way. And what I'm trying to do in the hip hop culture or in the music that I'm presenting, it's been a big year, and I'm really proud of all of it. Honestly, even the downs, it's all about learning for me. Like how can I make this better? How can I make this more me? How can I make this more authentic? So this is what I take out of it, not necessarily like the individual accolades, which I'm really grateful for. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the fact that you just said you're Lebanese, and you know, like, I think this is a part of you that you will never, ever let go of. So how would you say that your music is contributing to the culture of Lebanon?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's a big statement for me to say that I think it's contributing to the culture in my way and in my perspective, and to my community and the people that come to the shows. I get to hear how it contributes to their lives. But the way that I look at it is more like, okay, I'm creating a voice or a message, or I'm expressing myself in a certain way that I know hasn't been done in maybe in Arab culture, but more specifically in Lebanese, whether it's the dialect, the way that I say things in the lyrics, the things that I bring in, the things I talk about as an Arab woman, how unapologetic I am. Again, I don't think there has been too many examples for me to follow. So the intention of wanting to represent that and taking that really seriously for me, like when I'm in the studio and I'm creating and I'm thinking about words, like what words I'm going to use, even specifically, I always go back to thinking like, okay, I have a song called Ekhir Hamme, for example, which means I don't care.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in Lebanese. Like there hasn't been a song, like maybe in English there's been 20,000 songs that say that, but saying that in Lebanese hasn't been said. And I really want to make people feel what I would have liked to feel as a young person, which is represented, which is seen, which is heard. And that's what I see at the shows, and that's what I see in fans. It's not just like, okay, you have cool music. It's more like, we feel represented, and it's been hard for us to feel like that, especially growing up and being exposed to Western culture. And in the beginning, even I've had this conversation with a lot of people from my community. We were kind of raised up to, I think we all got into a tendency to want to, how can I put this in a proper way? To look at our art and the perspective of our art from a Western perspective, as opposed to really understanding the culture and where we come from and the references and how we can add to the conversation in a more genuine way and make that kind of impact. So this is really important to me. So to go back to your question, I hope that it adds to the culture. I just like to put my perspective out there in an authentic and uncensored way, and hope that it can inspire people to do the same thing. That's really all I can ask for. I'm grateful that I get to do the fact that this is my job, that's still, you know, crazy to me. That's all I've ever wanted, was to get up every day and do this, you know.
So I feel like we're only at the tip of the iceberg in terms of this conversation. We don't have a lot of time left, but I would like to ask, you've started your label and you're working with artists, you're choosing with artists, you're collaborating. Would you maybe personally or for your label be able to or want to define a singular message or the purpose for your music?
A singular message?
Do you think it's important for artists to have a message? And if so, do you have something kind of in the back of your mind, this is what I'm trying to put out there?
I think it's important. I did this exercise for myself as an artist, and this is what I'd like to bring in when I'm collaborating with other artists or trying to develop them or producing them, which is to find really who they are authentically and how they want to translate that into art. I think that's really important, and that comes with a lot of questions. It's not even about just like, are you a good singer? Are you a good dancer? It's like, yeah, but how do you translate who you really are, your experiences and your view of the world, to to something that's authentic to you, to something that can relate to people who relate to you. You know, I work with artists that make different kind of music or that want to speak to different audiences, but it's the same process. It's about really digging into their intention. The rest, for me, the technical stuff, it's all details. It's all exercises. It's like a sport. But getting into the intention, it's a much more difficult conversation than it sounds like. It took me years to really dig down and understand and ask the why. You know how they say even in companies you have to constantly ask the why. What is our purpose? What is our goal? So we can make decisions based off of that. So this is very important to me when I bring artists into the studio or when I'm talking to artists or collaborating. Like what are we trying to say? Even if it's a fun thing, then the intention is fun, then how do we serve that purpose? So it's not about a singular message that applies to everyone. We don't have like a format, but it's more about the intention and how you maneuver around art that I really like to encourage artists to do when they're in this environment. I hope to bring that to their arts.
So you said that you've been here for 15, you've been in the music industry for 15 years, right? So a quick advice to people who would want to follow their passion.
People who would want to follow their passion? Yeah. You know, it's, I used to have a simpler answer to this question.
Yes.
And it's not simple and it's complicated. And you know how they say, I quit my 9 to 5 and now I work 24/7?
Yeah.
This is what it is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of disappointments. It's a lot of freedom, but with freedom comes chaos. With freedom comes insecurity, financial instability. Like it's, the industry is a hostile environment. So you really, really, really have to feel like this is your only choice, like this is your calling. Otherwise, you know, do it as a side thing, do it as a hobby because it's intense. But if you're able to get through it and you're able to really go all the way, it's unmatched. It's unmatched, really. Yeah.
We're at the very end of our interview, but I would like to give a quick shout out to Ethara and their Regional Artist Spotlight program for bringing us together and for being able to have this conversation. Like I said, I really do feel like it's the tip of the iceberg. How did it feel to be chosen as the artist, and what do you think the next year will bring for you?
Yeah, so big shout out for Artist Regional Spotlight. I'm really grateful to be here with them, and we've been in contact for a long time trying to make this happen. So I'm really excited to be involved with them in that capacity. They've done so many amazing features with other artists as well that I love their work. So shout out to them. I hope we can keep doing really amazing things together.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. That was Blu Fiefer waving the Lebanese flag around the world. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here.
Guys, that is all we have time for in the Lovin Dubai show. We'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.